don't know when it's going to start. I don't even know if YouTube is telling me. I don't know if Google Hangouts Live is telling me it's live and it's actually happening. I'm never sure of these things. Hey, we're live on the Metal Lab this week. I am joined by the Ginger Distractor, PJ Bolin.
Hi.
The white-haired, also last-named white man, Mike White.
Hello.
I had to work with white. Sorry, man. That all came out wrong.
Filthy racist. What the? Out. I'm out.
All right, I'm gonna go see myself out for all that terrible introduction work, and
so I guess I can start hosting early.
You don't have camera control today, so
no.
Quick little thing before we get started on our weekend review, which is probably most of the show, to be brutally honest, because some people went to ROCs and some people went to pre-releases and all that kind of stuff. We have this new YouTube Super Chat live. I think my understanding is you can give us money, and your chat thing becomes like mega evolves into, oh my god, it's in my face. I will happily interrupt the show for your super chats because you're paying for them, so why the heck not, right? Only makes sense. So that's now live. That's a thing we have. We have 2,000 plus subscribers. It's a feature we get at 1,000. So that's open to us as it is. Also Patreon work. I think I got a really good idea for the All Common League that people really like. I'm going to put the video together to sell you all on it and see if we can get that Patreon money to get that packed up. Anyway, paperwork's out of the way. The boring stuff's out of the way. Let's talk about our weeks in review. And I'm going to start. I've come up with an idea that I'm going to run with, but that's really all I did was come up with an idea. I didn't get a chance to really, other than like a couple games with Amber, really get to push much with it. It's been a very busy week, and that's going to be my story. If you see me on the Metal Lab for the next couple months, I was really busy. I don't know where my feet are. Hero clicks, yay. Would be my reaction. Those of you who didn't catch my Facebook post, I'll talk about it a little later on in the show, but I'm going to let these guys talk because they're staring at me like, I got things to say, Jay. I'm going to start with Mike because I know PJ's got a big story from the weekend, and he's also chewing.
Well, I appreciate the busy thing because I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm amping up to things. We go to camera, start filming the feature that I'm on in a week, so everything is getting crazy there. So my clicks time is starting to do this, unfortunately, but lots of thinking about clicks, and I did manage to go to a pre-release Thursday night. Knock on wood, there's been only maybe 2 sets in my memory that have been mean to me in sealed. This was not one of them. I pulled both a chase and a prime in my 2 boosters that we got to have at our pre-release because of the number of people that came and the number of boosters that they sent us. So I managed to get the prime Moira McTaggart, and I got the Chase Mr. Sinister. So I was really actually super excited about that. I liked the figure, and for sure I played him because you got to give it a shot. So my team was Mr. Sinister, Moira. I forgo theme. I immediately looked at my team and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make theme and have Sinister. So I just said, forget it. I'm not making theme. So anyway, Sinister, Moira, Sprite in that horrible, horrible outfit, Icarus, Beast, the X Factor Beast, so the common, and I think that was it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 5 figures on my team. If I forgot another one, I'm sorry, figure that I forgot. But you obviously did nothing for me. Was really fun, interesting team to actually try out. I love Mr. Sinister's mechanic of at the beginning, you just move him next to some friendly within 6, and then he gets to roll leadership because it's still beginning of your turn when this happens. I kept doing that to keep him at a safe distance. But I also managed to utilize that to get him into good positions once I pushed him to outwit. I was taking tokens off of Icarus all the time, and I really utilized the X-Student trait very well by keeping Sprite and Icarus and Beast, always finding a way to have them sort of touching each other when they were making attacks adjacent to each other. I know, touching each other, yeah, of course. And that really helped. Amazingly, There were at least 3 times where I needed a 7 to hit, and I rolled a 6, but it was a 1 and a 5. So it kicked in the ex-student trait. So it actually minus the defense by 1, making it a hit, which was awesome. My team went undefeated. Unfortunately, my first round opponent underbuilt by 100 points.
Holy smokes!
They had been away from the game for a while, and yeah, I don't know.
About a year.
Yeah. I know. That was a tough one because, yeah, and what was crazy too is all 3 rounds I faced off against teams that were based around TK, and I had none, and I managed to eliminate that TK all 3 times and really controlled the map, controlled the outwits, and I didn't even lose any figures until my last round. I lost like 2 figures, Moira, and I think I lost Beast. So 100 points. And that was it. So I finished second. I got Dazzler, which was, cool. I was just happy with the polls. Anytime you can go to a pre-release event and pull a chase, let alone a chase and a prime, that's a win. As soon as you crack those packs,
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if you win the tournament, you won.
Exactly. For me, those are always the best situations because then I can really, really enjoy the game. I don't put as much pressure on myself. I just sort of say, all right, awesome, that's a win. Let's roll some dice and have some fun. Another reason why I didn't bother play theme because I like to, it was better to try out these figures, especially Mr. Sinister. I really wanted to try him out. Great figure. Love him. Loved him at the 100 points. Look forward to playing him in some theme stuff. That was my only chance to play. But I will say that I've actually been spending a lot of time building teams. I've been on HC Realms like crazy in the unit section, just keyword searching and building and bringing up, because already in the unit section, this is what's great about HC Realms. Set hasn't even dropped, guys, but HC Realms has pretty much all the figures in the unit section. So you can already be looking at dials, you can be keyword searching figures and building that way, which I've already been doing. I've probably made at least 30 teams from X-Men figures or X-Men floor type teams. And so that's been my week in Clixed. It's just more cerebral in the X world. Makes sense, right? I'm doing a little Professor X cerebro. What? Look what I did there. Wordplay. What? That's it. Yay,
Awesome.
Clixed.
Jay, how's your week?
Oh, I went to 3 tournaments this week, which is
What's the matter with you?
so much HeroClix. Despite the fact that my interest in the set was very limited, set's been pretty good to me because I ended up wanting basically 4 super rares, 1 for each X sub theme that I like, and then Defenders because Angel has it. But my packs have been gold. At the pre-release at 401 on Thursday, I ended up pulling the Storm ID that I could not use, but it's still a rare ID card, and it's okay. It's okay. I saw PJ saying it was bad on Facebook the other day. I don't know why. I guess it's not that great. And I pulled the super rare Magic Darkchild Demon super scary piece. It has a negative trait, but that makes it really cheap, and I like that. And my team actually ended up, both my pre-release teams ended up being exactly 25 points under. So team for this one was Skids, because 18 defend is good. The Magic, Common Beast with Outwit, Leap, whatever, X Factor, damage trait, and the Mystique. So Magic does her thing. She's just one of the scariest things in the set. Both Beast and Mystique start off with super senses, but they pick up reflexes later, which is especially obnoxious when you have an 18 defend. So they were nigh impossible to hit. So round 1 was against Jimmy, who had Dust, Gold Balls, Penance, and some other stuff, and I ended up winning that one. Dust was really good because free damage in a set without reducers is just good. And Magic just destroys things because these dials are really short and she's penetrating damage no matter what. So outside of another really beefy thing, she's not getting taken down and sealed. Round 2 is against our beloved Tom, who, poor guy, rolled a crit miss to start playing Chase Cyclops, Sync, one of the X generics, the uncommon Cyclops, the X Factor one with improved targeting hindering. I think that was and Chamber, which he's okay in sealed. So he went. I should also mention that we all my games in this event were on the arcade, and that was pretty cool. Even though it's really good for Mondo and Rock Slide, but Tom rolls a crit miss. We go back and forth. It ends up being pretty close, even though he can't really hit. And then just the stupidest rules thing I've ever noticed, which is that Sync says choose a friendly character, blah blah blah, with Generation X, but doesn't say another one. So despite the fact that he literally only has one standard power, if your other Generation X characters get KO'd, you can still just get Perplex. Because he has willpower on all of his clicks, and he just says, I'm just going to say I'm going to pick my willpower, and I have the Generation X keyword, so I have Perplex, which is pretty good. And I was dying of laughter because it was just so stupid that worked. And it ended up coming down to he was attacking my magic. The Mystic's damage would have killed him on his Cyclops chase, and then the Revenge token could have killed magic, but even if it did, I was way underbuilt, so I would have won on points had they both knocked each other out. But she ended up surviving, and I ended up winning that game. Then I played against Manny, who I convinced to come out to apparently beat me, playing Super Rare Angel, Moira non-prime, so just the regular Professor, Rusty, Hellion, Icarus. I think that was it. And Rusty just put in a lot of work with his stupid not Clixed FX marker and constantly getting tokens taken off of him by Angel or being healed, all that stuff. And then I missed my big attack with magic to just one-shot him. I missed needing a 6, while literally every single time he attacked, he managed to hit because of the X-Student trait. I think almost literally every attack, and it was just like, no, you hit because you have that stupid trait. And he'd also been mentioning that he kind of didn't want to win the event and pick the pack first because he could at least see if other people were going to pull good stuff and whatnot. But he ended up placing first, and he got the first extra pack, which had the Chase Cyclops. So that would have been nice to pull and have for trade fodder because I don't even like Cyclops, but it is what it is. And I ended up trading. This is important because I ended up trading the magic and ended up buying a couple packs to Devin for his Dark Beast chase that he pulled. I ended up giving Amber, who's almost my birthday twin, the Storm ID for late birthday, holiday, whatnot, because it is too valuable to keep, and I don't care about keeping stuff that's just meta.
Wait,
so
I own a Storm ID now? Amber, I own a Storm ID now?
Yeah,
it's in my wallet.
Did you hear that? She put it in her wallet.
I thought I lost my Hulk ID because I thought I did the same exact thing one time. Yes, you have the Storm ID.
And 2 Ameritrades now.
Yeah, I have an extra Meridor too now because Comic Warehouse, which I went to the second pre-release at, was giving them as part of if you signed up early enough, blah, blah, blah. So after trading for the Dark Beast, I pulled another one at the Comic Warehouse. Funnily enough, where I pulled the Super Rare Prime from UXM. So apparently I can pull good there at pre-releases, except for when it's stuff I actually want. Like when I didn't pull the Casey Green Lantern, but Patrick Chow pulled it in my pod at World's Finest. But my team ended up being the Dark Beast, Professor X non-prime at 75 points, Phoebe Cuckoo, who's the one with TK, Hellion, and Dust, because those are all really good figures. 18 defend on Professor X. Lots of good stuff. Dark Beast gets the X-Men keyword, so I have +5 theme. So I have theme probs, I have 2 outwits, free smoke. It's gross. I don't think I end up having a single figure get KO'd. Round 1 there was against Sharif, who was playing Jubilee, the Common Gene, the Common Cyclops, Banshee, and maybe something else I can't remember. but I ended up not winning map roll because he also had a +5, and basically he hit like one energy explosion that didn't really end up mattering because in one turn we both used like 3 or 4 theme probs each, and basically came down to I ended up just winning because I had 2 outwits and 18 defend on Professor X was good. Round 2 was against Devin, who had 2 ciphers at the full points. Darwin, an ex-student, ex-trainee, and then something else that I really can't remember. But his strategy was basically because he didn't pull very well. He moves the ciphers next to you. They attack. They have plasticity. They're hard to get away. But Professor X is like, nah, you just walk away. Just go over there. I don't really feel like dealing with you right now. So his close combat strategy didn't really work, and I won that game. And then I played against Cecil, who does not show up very often, but he is still a very good player. And whenever I had to play against him, it is very scary. He had the non-prime Emma, the other 2 cuckoos, so not the one I had, the common Cyclops, the Iceman with single target incapacitate, and I don't even remember what else. And I ended up just winning very easily because my team was just ridiculous. And he would move up. I would just say my control to move to a better spot for me to attack you. Good luck hitting my 18 defense, plus perplex, plus whatever other defense powers. I would have some free damage from dust. So I ended up winning that tournament in addition to getting the ridiculously good stuff. But my prize, what did my prize pack have? Oh, it had Fat, who I did really want. That was nice. And then 401 constructed on Sunday. I was judging there, so I took a first round bye, and then I played the Night Lantern I just got off of you, Jason. So that was very appreciated. And I used him to make the Green Lantern God of Light not quite as crap by equipping, amalgamating him with Superman Blue for running shot to start, which is whatever. I also had the Green Lantern of Gotham and Casey Green Lantern at lower points because he got Green Lantern Corps. And it was actually almost a Justice League theme team because all of them except for the Batman had Justice League and Green Lantern Corps. So round 1 was a bye. There was an odd number and I was the judge. Then I played against Glenn's Authority and he couldn't just not roll, unfortunately. And I had so much barrier because the Green Lantern has barrier. Or the Casey Green Lantern has barrier, and the Batman has barrier when he's pushed. So I would find myself a lot of the time using theme probs, whatever, to intentionally push him just so I could get free barrier 2 out of 3 turns. So it was hard for him to even attack me. He had to spend a lot of actions destroying barriers. I ended up winning that one, but not fully wiping. And then I played against Devin, who, in addition to playing the magic I had traded him, was using the dust I had traded him the day before to finish off his post-AVX black costume, whatnot, X-Men. And Green Lantern God of Light just sucks, and Night Lantern loses move attack very quickly. And he had a really good team, so he ended up winning, but it was closer than I would have thought because my characters were kind of but we still had fun. And we started giving out the Mojo World stuff, and I'm looking forward to playing that long shot and hopefully giving him running shot. And then we come to today. And as far as other HeroClix stuff goes,
where Jay decided to go into way too much detail about his weeks in tournaments.
Yes, and also I've been working on the East Realms primers. You can check those out for your sealed events, and a lot of 2 Patrick articles on the way, or Majestics articles. So very, very busy HeroClix week.
This is why you don't leave me alone with my thoughts. None of this is on my team. Hey, Jay, is there any 400-point ROC Limited tournaments coming up in the Greater Toronto area? So this gets worse.
I'm actually looking at making a local Winamap, ROC Age Limited, but with Patrick's band list.
Don't say ROC Age. I hate that. I hate Legacy. I don't keep Legacy.
I'm sorry, person who dumps all their modern stuff. Thanks for all that stuff the other day, by the way.
I just want to point out, if WizKids isn't going to support it, why do I want to keep it? Speaking of which, we're going to continue on the conversation. PJ, I'm going to let you talk about your awesome weekend. You actually went to a ROC this weekend, some actual competitive play, some really cool stuff. So take it away, sir.
I went down to Lexington, Kentucky, and played at the Rusty Scabbard. It's Bob Murdoch's home store. He was the head judge for the day. The main event was 400 limited, 400 modern limited, and I played a JSA theme with 2 Ma Hunkles, a Dr. Midnight, the Isaac Berkovitz Pog, the Patrick Yapoko Pog, and 6 Joker Wild Green Lanterns. Basically, the strategy for the team is you sidestep 2 with Red Tornado, double power action, pull everybody in, barrier up. Next turn, same thing with the other Red Tornado. And you're perpetually, every turn, you're placing or moving 11 figures and placing 13 to 18 barrier markers as needed. So it was good on paper.
PJ, you can't make friends putting up barriers between you. Couldn't help it. Carry on, sir.
So round 1, I played against, he's in our Discord. It's Loki the Trickster. And he was playing like Triple King Shark, Tribbles, Ace the Bat Hound, and then per my suggestion, Space Mikey. So if he did lose map, he still has access to stealth for his King Sharks, and yeah. And then it gives him a main force prob that he has every turn. And from what I saw for the event, that piece did very well for him. I know it did very well against me. I actually lost map roll with my +9. He rolled a crit with his +6, so it didn't really. His 18 beat my 12 because I rolled 3, and so he comes in pretty hard. I make the first attack with my Isaac Pog. I'm like, I know I can get some good damage on a shark, but I didn't remember exactly how many clicks because I'd also been up for like 22 hours at that point. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure if I hit it for this, it's dead or at least crippled, and I was wrong. So I tagged it and ended up leaving my Isaac Pog out to die, which got my leadership off the table. So only taking 4 actions instead of 5. He ends up engaging, and his positioning was well. I killed a King Shark, had another one low, and that's when he started to run as time got down. So I was chasing. He ended up winning like 140-ish to 90, 170 to 90. I had to kill a shark. That's what it was. If I killed a shark, I won, but I needed like another turn or 2. So that's okay. It happens. Next round, I played against Patrick Frazier, who was playing Nick Fury Overdrive, Bill, Red Leader, and then secretly the best piece ever against an all-barrier team, Anaconda, with Triple Perplex is really, really good against me. So it was another game where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna kill this Anaconda because it hard counters me. And he had like 6 consecutive shape changes. Nope, he missed one of them in there, and I crit missed with my Hootie, where I had no theme prop, so my Hootie died. Then he hit 2 more shape changes, and then so he shape changes off of Nick, so I shoot at Bill, and then he hits the Impervious. So I actually don't think I dealt any damage that entire game. I may have hit Anaconda once, but I'm pretty sure he rolled out of everything. So I lost that one. Not full force. I think it was like 70 to 0. And it was ugly. Round 3, I don't remember his name. I was starting to kind of black out of tiredness in this round. It was a Justice League theme. It was like the 55-point Green Lantern, 2 shifting soups, a shifting bats, and the LE Green Arrow, the Trick Arrow one.
Yeah.
He forgot that brick soups could move through walls, So I had a shifting focus Superman locked in barriers for like 5-6 turns before he remembered that. So he had it in his box, because normally I'll tell people, like, especially if I'm 0-2 at an event, I'll be like, hey, why don't you just shift to that guy and then whack me with it? But he had it in his box and I never saw it. So I was like, oh, well, he must not have it. So, he didn't kill any, or he killed my Pogs because he had the Leap Climb Quake soups. So he got in with that early, killed the Pogs, which was fine. I barrier locked his Green Arrow because I don't like energy explosions, and eventually chipped away at his pieces and I ended up killing everything and winning that one. I don't remember my round 4. Not
I've
a
had those.
part of it. Like, I don't remember what I played against. I won. That's all I know. Then round 5, I played against a TMNT ally theme. And at 2-2, I was like, man, I'm going to have to fully table him. And then I still would have to win in top 8 to get a map. So I was like, I just don't think I'm going to really care what happens here. So, like, he's moving up he has Chase Mikey, Chase Raffer as attackers, and then a bunch of support for them, like Renee and April, Splinter. He has Space Leo and a Irma. That was the whole team.
Get
so
there and punish. Yeah, I got it.
I block off Space Leo's line, and I was like, man, it'll be awesome if Mikey can come in here and just flap my whole team. So I barrier off Raph, and I leave Mikey a little window to come in, and I'm like, well, let's see what happens. And he hit like 7 of my figures that turn with Mikey. So I don't want to say I gave it to him. Like, he played it very well. It was smart. I loved his team, but I was at the point where I just didn't care about that tournament anymore. And I was like, there's a side event coming up. I'll just play in that. If I win it, I get a map and I get an entry into a Mega or a Super Q later down the road. So I just kind of didn't really care about that. But I think I only used Power Action Barrier 2 or 3 times that game. I was just throwing up free light walls, and because I was lazy. So cut top 8, I wasn't in it, obviously. The winner ended up being Jalen Major, which Jay Major has won a couple events. You've seen him pop up generally with Shredders. And so it was him and his son in the finals. So that was pretty cool to see. And the son whooped up on the dad. He was playing like Unimind, Double Doc Overdrive. I think that was it. Nah, I don't know exactly, but that stuff that tells you enough about the team.
Yeah.
So he won that. So at the same time as Top Cut was going, they started a 300 Modern side event, which I just played the Mistress Death team that I wrote the article about. Kenny Pena's build. The only difference was I changed out Low Point Lex for God Lex on the teleporter. Round 1 in that tournament, I played against Stephen Clark Jr., who was playing like Haha Joker with a Supreme Intelligence, Overdrive Sam Cap. I don't remember what else. But it came down to just his Haha Joker and my Mistress Death. He had 4 tokens on it, and he was on a high click on the... Oh, Tidal Harley. Tidal Harley was the other piece. And it's the reason I won, is because he was playing Tidal Harley. I killed it early, and it came down to when it was just my Mistress Death, and he goes big Supreme Intelligence, replaces Haha Joker, so I'm like, crap. So I phase into the corner of the map where he can't... I'm just outside of 15, so he has to do the target the whole map and hit for 3, and I'm like, power action heal 2, over and over and over. So he couldn't kill me before time ran out, and I won on points because Mistress Death hadn't died that game. So round 2, I played against a teammate of mine, Tommy Lytle, and he played Mini Shredder, Claw Shredder, 55-point Green Lantern, 2 Carnages, Teleporter. He moved in, and his dice just kind of didn't exist very well. He gets a damage in with on one of my Lokis with Mini Shredder, and so I get to retaliate him that turn. So I hit him with Mistress Death, give him the Touch of Death, retaliate, miss, then the Pog hits and hits for 10. So Mini Shredder exploded pretty easily. And then it was just kind of a slow going game from there. He killed Mistress Death once or twice. I ended up tabling him, but he still scored like almost 300. So it was still really close. Round 3, I played against Aaron Morgan down from Lucky Dice Games. And he was playing Double King Shark, both possessed, a couple tribbles, and an Ace the Bat Hound. So using the tribbles to keep it 6 figures. And he comes in, crit hits my Black Panther, so I can't mastermind it. He just explodes, and I'm like, well, that's fun. So I'm like, this is kind of going to be uphill from here. But luckily, my dice I don't think I missed an attack that game. Not that I needed high numbers or anything. I just, I was hitting my 7s and 8s and 6s. So I ended up winning. It was 3 rounds cut top 2. So we do the cut top 2, and it's just a rematch, me against Aaron again, because he scored so many points killing my Mistress Death. Pretty much the same start. He wins map, obviously. Instead of putting my Black Panther in the ring this time, I put him 1 square out of it. So if he wants to be standing in the boxing ring, he has to attack out of it to attack Black Panther, which he tries and ends up missing. I don't know that he hit very many attacks that game. He killed Mistress Death once. And this was all on stream, so I actually don't remember a whole lot of the details of this game. I just remember getting snippy with some people who were watching because they kept talking, and I was like, oh my God, I just need to get this game over with, guys. Shut up, please. And I know I played sloppy. Like, I was removing tokens when I shouldn't have been off of Mistress Death because, like, Ace pushed himself to death. I was like, oh, standard character was KO'd, cleared a token. Forgot he was tiny. And then one time Mistress Death got KO'd, I didn't give her 2 tokens. Like, I put her over there clear. And that's no bueno. So, not that probably would have directed the outcome of the game because his dice were absolutely horrible. But it was still really sloppy. But I ended up winning. So, I got me the new ROC map and a voucher for an entry to a mega qualifier, a mega or a super Q in the future. So it was fun. The event was ran well. Don't really have any complaints, and that was the entirety of my week in Clixed, other than I'm starting an article tonight for Majestics.
Cool. Quick question about the mastermind thing there. Was it because Black Panther didn't have a target on the
because he crit hit, so he automatically becomes the hit target. It bypasses it just like Super Senses.
Oh, does it say that specifically somewhere for Mastermind?
It's
same logic as Super Senses.
Well, it's not the logic at all because critical hits specifically says can't be evaded. Whereas in the case of Mastermind, when this character would be hit by an opposing character's attack that deals damage, you may choose
don't crit.
The character to be
crit
hit.
hits don't say
because crit hits say become hit.
Yeah, crit hits say they become hit. That it doesn't say.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yep.
Just checking. This is something that's important to one of my teams. So
yeah. If they crit hit your Mastermind, the guy is hit. Unfortunately.
Okay. Actually, no. Joker Thugs still work because they're worded differently. Mwah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. I don't know why I drifted off on that. All right, so a couple new things have popped up in this past week in regards to things HeroClix. So let's get them out of the way right now. I believe it's I forgot what's the ROC's website now.
It's under Lucky Dice somewhere. Or no, it's not. Is it? I don't remember.
ROCOnline.com, isn't it?
ROCOnline. I guess not, because that gives me.
Nope.
I could buy that domain. Or is it theroconline.com?
I'm sending it to you.
Not theroconline.com.
Roc.ion Sweet, whatever. I sent you the link.
Roc.I. That is. Oh, jeez. All right, cool. So roc.ionsuite.com, because it's not their own domain. Neat. They just got themselves a brand spanking new website where everything's kind of set upon. So it seems a lot easier to set up your events and whatnot through here. And this is where you guys can sign up and get yourself. Can you sign up yet? Or I'm just saying things that were said to me months ago, and I don't know if this is actually true.
You can sign in.
What's that? Yep, there it is, a sign in. Look at that. Cool. Awesome. So you can create your account and get yourself all set up with the ROC. You can find a neat list of podcasts where you can find yourselves among with other podcasts that are out there on the world. Clixed Off, us, Mr. Clixfic, Nerd Thug Radio, Starting Over podcast, Tabletop Teacher, and the 2 Clicks from KO guys. So, whoops. Apparently, this is, I don't know what's up. So my daughter is up. So, but anyway, if you're going to be hosting an event, there's a Host a ROC tab, ROC rules, all that kind of stuff. It's all set up here. But they've also made an announcement in regards to, I'm perfectly prepared the thing, just not prepared for my daughter to wake up in the middle of the night. The ROC made an announcement in regards to their legacy formats, that being the ROC Age format, is that they've had to ban Ophidian. I'm going to go see what's up with this. In the meantime, PJ, you want to explain the reasoning for this? Because you're you're a big proponent of this one.
Yes. I will explain why the Ophidian ban was necessary. So just for those that don't know, what he does is he has a special damage power that is Outwit, and when he uses it, he gains the use of anything that he counters. So an unexpected side effect of the Outwit rule change makes him able to gain access to any power in the game. Unfortunately, that's not just standard powers. That includes all special powers. So anything that any figure could do, he can just also do it because. So when you're looking at non-limited formats, you have Ophidian possessing Greed with an Omega Drive. So for 95 points, you can give out energy dampeners every turn. You can use Chase Thanos's Teleport My Greatest Enemies. You can gain multi-attack. You can just, like, it gets silly because, like, say I'm going to Outwit and gain multi-attack. Then I'm going to use that multi-attack to use Outwit 2 more times to take Crimson Bands of Sidorak and energy dampeners. So I'm going to activate energy dampeners. Then I'm going to copy all those powers from Hope Summers, and then she's going to use Outwit to gain access to yellow. So now from across the map, she's using yellow, applying Crimson Bands, while you have energy dampeners, so you can't do anything for the rest of the game. It's game over. So, because if you have dampeners and Crimson Bands, you can't do anything, because it says you need to take a power action to get rid of the Crimson Bands, and energy dampener says you can't take a power action. So it's kind of just over for, and that's only 170 points of a build. So you still have 130 points to make sure you don't miss. And so past that, when you play him in limited, you just play 185 point Ophidian, and you have the same access. Like, people are like, well, you have to be able to target me with Outwit, and yeah, but you can also just play like Victoria Hand, who becomes opposing, and you can just Outwit her to proceed with all the shenanigans. And a lot of people are like, you can just rule to make it not work. And there's a huge issue with making rulings that are different when you're looking different from WizKids, because then they're going to start being required to rule on everything differently than WizKids if they just don't agree with it. And that will never slide. That's never going to be a way to do it. That's not how they did it with Faust. So it's not setting a precedent. They've already banned a piece before. Ophidian, as of right now, is probably the most broken game element ever. Probably even worse than Pre-Errata Faust, because there's no randomness to it. It's just done. Like Pre-Errata Faust, you can still roll bad.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything. Ophidian, you don't have to roll dice, and you can just win the game. Another one that you can do with Ophidian, just for more broken shenanigans, you can take like the like Beta Ray Bill's power, where you can't target me within 4, and Zira and the Tester's I think move power, where if you don't hit him, all your pieces take an unavoidable. Like, so I can just make you not ever hit me, and you take an unavoidable every turn until it's over. Like, good luck, I guess. So The biggest problem, and the reason I think it has to be banned, is it creates an unfun environment for anybody involved. Even like the people wanting to play it, like myself, Dan, Adam Friedman, we're all like, this piece is terrible and doesn't need to be here. But how can we break this farther to make people realize that it's too broken? It doesn't need to be here. I know, like for my event in particular, there's going to be several people coming. It's going to be their first ROC event. How would you feel at your first ROC event if you showed up and somebody did this to you? You would never want to play competitive HeroClix ever again. So I think banning it is not only the right thing because of its power level, but also because it creates an environment that will not want people to play competitive HeroClix. So to add, also, they added the Star Trek ships to their banned list, but that's just because WizKids had already banned it in ROC or in Modern and Golden.
Yeah.
And that's more of a clarification, like, hey, you can't use them here either. So it's not that they're super overpowered or anything like that. They're just not usable anywhere else. So they're just keeping along with that.
Yeah, keep it along the line. It always.
Yeah, well, they're all just worse for the points than regular HeroClix if you actually look at them.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to share your thoughts there, Jay, on the?
I'm a little conflicted myself because, as far as I can tell, the intent, like Ophidian came out, like the Outwit thing is new. Ophidian came out years and years before. Like the game state then is just so obviously different that it's just not. It kind of reminds me when people say you're not allowed to use the Book of Skull with equipment because the word used on the Book of Skull is technically equip. And it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. Those things were released so far apart that that's not how the game works. And the problem then is how many more things become unplayable and therefore banned if you just... It's like, you're not really going against WizKids because as far as WizKids is concerned, the piece doesn't exist. So it's essentially only a ROC piece now. I mean... Obviously, it gets to a point where you can't judge based on intent if it's not. It's intent. But just the thing with Ophidian is we know what the game was like when it came out. It's. I can understand why you don't start with that precedent, though. I don't disagree in that regard. But I just think in this one case, it's just so obvious. But I still totally understand why it had to happen.
Like, my retort to that, because I've been having this discussion all day, is when you say your intent for Ophidian, his intent was always, if you outwit a power, he gets it. Because people were using it with Tachyon, or to convert him into Tachyon, always. So it's always whatever he uses outwit on, he's gotten. So there are different ways to interpret the intent. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying when you have multiple ways to interpret the intent of a piece, that's where... You're not looking at the intent of the piece because you're not the creator. You're looking at your interpretation of the intent of the piece. So, like, I agree, your way is significantly less broken than how it should be. But I don't know. I think there just needs to be a big giant document made that says every relevant piece and how it would work. Because, like, I was discussing some of these powers with other people and how you rule intent. Like, okay, regen, you don't subtract 2. Obvious intent is you just get your roll. But what about regen where you only subtract 1? How do you convert that now?
Right. Well, it's a good thing that we do have some new rules errata to go based on.
Yep.
So that's a good guide. And we have the clarification that says how old stuff works with the new wording. And there's a little leeway to actually start interpreting the rules properly. But yeah, when you get to these weird cases where WizKids isn't touching it, and it's just so different, and it's ridiculous.
All right, Mike, your thoughts?
Oh, I had to reach that unmute button there. Hey, I'm back. I think it's a good idea. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to something that was mentioned by both of them, which is really, sure, the intent and everything, and that's come up 1,000,001 times. But this figure doesn't exist normally. It's really all about ROC, and ROC has to make a decision on what works best for them, and it just makes it easier overall for them to just sort of blanket say, let's get rid of the figure, because the ROC isn't really about rewriting rules or powers for figures, right? I mean, that's what WizKids does. WizKids makes the figure, and if something's wrong, they put it in errata or they do whatever. That's kind of not how ROC is operating, right? ROC is saying, we're going to take these resources and we're going to run these events and we're going to run them this way. If we're going to allow these resources there, we have to make sure that we keep an eye on any that are unfortunately, like Ophidian, kind of broken in the way that they work now. So I think it was a really good idea. And just like PJ said, you know, you want to have an inclusive environment. You want top level competition, but you want to invite people to get better and to play in that top level competition so that one day they can be a top level player. And you don't want to scare them away with something as ridiculously broken as Ophidian. I mean, yeah, ultimately, it really feels like it comes out of the "don't be a dink" rule, and you know you want to reach across and slap your opponent if they think that that's reasonable. But it's happened before, so yeah, I think it's a really good idea. Later, Ophidian. Too bad I didn't get to play him first.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that the ROC doesn't errata figures. I remember Howard specifically saying we do not errata figures, which is the correct policy to have. It's so annoying that WizKids doesn't want to touch these figures anymore. Like, I understand why, and obviously moving forward, all the figures are going to work, but it is what it is.
This here is the challenge that comes with creating or working with a legacy format. And when I say a legacy format in collectible games, that means formats that include not modern things that were made with old rule sets, et cetera, et cetera. When you create a format that's, you know, that includes things from the past that aren't made with current design and things in mind, you have to take it upon yourself, if WizKids isn't going to be in charge of it and they're really not supporting the format as a whole, to meter and curate some level of a ban list or maintain a ban list of some sorts.
Well, especially this year, because we've had such dramatic changes.
Yeah,
right?
and
we've changed the lexicon of the game.
That's where I was going with this. Is like when we walk into a rules change that's a new game almost completely, we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, well, this power works this way. But in the case of Ophidian, okay, so I'm now outwitting anything. Like just anything. Right? I outwit Grace's special perplex on your con artist. What? Yeah. So, but you know, and I applaud the ROC for taking it upon themselves. They've got long months of doing this ahead of them. I think this is the most broken figure to grace the format as far as fundamentals of the game, because this is one of those things. We got into a conversation last week. We said we got into an argument about whether or not the shredders were broken and whatnot, and in comparison, like the GCPD cars and et cetera, et cetera. And when you say the word broken, it has to fundamentally change everything that you understand about the game. And one of the things that, you know, my argument against the shredders is that I have not once changed anything I do because shredders exist. I've changed what I had to do because Unimind exists. I've changed what I had to do because Jakeem Thunder exists. But not much in that matter, right? So they're kind of slightly. But if you fundamentally have to change the entire way you play the game, like Ophidian would have had to do, like I would have had to bring my entire collection of cards and be like, I think there's a card here that kind of, I don't know, we'll see. Just to show your opponent, like, this is what the power does, man. So long and the short of it is this had to happen. I feel like this is it, but I've been surprised. I don't keep a brain full of legacy characters, old characters, because of this stuff. I don't want to think about this sometimes. I got other things to think about. It's hard enough to think about modern as it is. So, anything else you want to kind of leave out on there, PJ, when we're done talking about this?
No. I guess just understand that like if ROC ends up putting out rules, it means it will get unbanned. They've made it very clear that when they banned Faust, that they would reevaluate consistently to see if he deserved to remain banned. So that I assume that would hold true for Ophidian as well.
Yeah. All right. So you're hosting a ROC Age tournament, as you said earlier. How about a couple details on that, sir, before we start to move to the fan question portion?
Here, 2 weeks, Saturday the 17th, here in Kokomo, Indiana, 400-point ROC Age Limited. Obviously following the new band list. I will be having that as well as a side event that will be 300 ROC Age, not limited. So I'll run that kind of just like Lexington did when Top Cut starts, except for I'm going to run it as a consolation event. So anybody who played in the main event can enter the side for free, and there will be prizing included. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but there will definitely be a map. It might not be the current map, but there will be a map. And so that should be fun. We just had to rent a venue in order to house the number of people that are expected to come, because it's looking like we're going to be at 45 to 50.
Nice.
Barring some cancellations and stuff that could happen, and which will happen, I'm sure. People cancel last minute because they always do. But we have people coming in from like South Dakota. We got people coming. Excuse me. Coming up from Alabama, Kentucky, all the surrounding areas. So some Iowa peeps. So it should be a good amount of, people from around the place. And then there's going to be a lot of locals that aren't, well versed. So it's going to be first tournaments for a lot of people. So if people are wanting to come out, have fun, play some older figures, they should definitely do it. Out of the 15 to 20 builds that people have sent me, I'd say probably only like 2 of them are the same or similar. There is a very large amount of diversity so far for what people are going to play in this event. So come play Clixed and let me judge your stuff.
Yeah. Cat in the way. Old formats do allow that diversity where you never know what to expect out of them. Like you could even see somebody try to pull off a Superman from the original Superman set. Who knows? Like all kinds of nonsense can occur. Back when commons were competitive, kids. I remember. You remember? I remember. Yeah, I remember. All right. Before we move into the fan questions, so I want to take a second to remind everybody that we have a Patreon, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. If you get access, you jump in on that, you're putting us forward towards our Married with Clicks format tournaments or format league, as it were. A way to kind of bolster your weekly tournament. We're not looking to make this like the ROC or anything like that. We're kind of looking as a way to help track a format and bolster some prizing in the future for some, participating venues. Ultimately, the cost will be 0 on the venues. That's our goal. You'll ultimately just the goal is to take your event that you're running, make it our format, report to us with your format, and report in the win as well. We'll double check all the stuff, all the information. We'll make sure we're analyzing the teams that are being played and what's winning and whatnot as well, so that we can meter the format and eventually help you guys get prize based on participation levels, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our goal. It's our next goal at the $200 mark. We're about halfway there. So if you're looking to get in on this, we have all kinds of incentives for the Patreon, especially our Discord, where Nathaniel is whining about his dice, but his dice apparently have made Old Man Logan bad. As well, you at $5 a month, you get early access to our recorded content, which is where you're going to see a lot more of me, and here is where you're going to see a little less of me. And you'll at the $10 mark, you get access to our patron tokens, which I just very recently moved. The most recent ones we sent out, the November, December ones, January, February, I will be sending at the end of February. So all kinds of neat stuff to check out there. Oh, you'll also get access to our patron hangout, which was unfortunately very sparse of our patrons that we usually get. If you want to jump in on that and not leave me and Amber hanging until 10:30, you can also get access to that. And our next one is March 2nd, so Friday, March 2nd. This was the last one was February 2nd, Friday, February 2nd. I'm a hot mess.
No, it won't be March 2nd.
Why won't it be March 2nd?
Boy's birthday party.
We were having the kid's birthday party will be over by 9:30. Goodness me. All right. With that said, we move to our fans' questions. We're starting out on Facebook where we put the post originally. If you're watching us live, put them in the chat. Put the big capital letters question in front of it. If you want to spend a couple cents and interrupt everything I'm doing, interrupt somebody else's question, put something in the super chat, and I'll just immediately stop what I'm doing and answer that question or dance as you ask me to dance. We'll see. All right. But we start off first with we got to I think Facebook is lying because I'm pretty sure this is the first one. William Dickey asks, how do you feel about the preemptive ban on Ophidian in Rock Age? Sad you didn't get to enjoy Busted Things, or happy that you don't even have to think about it? Also, if we don't get it, what are the teams PJ enjoyed playing against at the Lexington Rockathon, the one that gave him the most headache? Okay, so I think we're all good on the preemptive ban, and I didn't want to touch it. So... but PJ, what was the team that gave you the most headache? Barring your lack of sleep, which means everything gave you a headache.
Right. It would have been the team with Anaconda on it. The round 2 team definitely gave me the most headache. It was just so awkward to deal with because I'm playing barrier and you can attack through walls, and it was just an uphill game. That's definitely what gave me the headache, and it was cool to see something a little different. I do one thing I did check that I forgot to mention when I was talking about it. The most common piece there was Green Lantern, and second was King Shark, with 12 of them being played across the entire field of 28 players. So yeah, so there was a lot of King Shark, and that's what I was excited to see, and I know that's what Mike would have been excited to see. So.
All right, awesome. Next, Mr. The Man with the plan, the man who's on every episode when he's so inclined to remember, and when I'm inclined to remember, to put a stamp on it. Official episode, courtesy of Chris Stonkhouse. I love this. I don't know why I love doing the rubber stamp thing. It's just something that's become muscle memory now whenever I see his name. He had fun in Lexington, saw some neat teams, learned some new things like Pulse Wave using printed defenses, even if it's a -3. Lessons learned. Looking forward to PJ's event, and I will try to bring my A+ game to that event. Double Elijah Snows on the dungeon was fine for me, but I faced several teams I could just fly away, and I couldn't roll well when I was attacking. King Sharks on the zipline map was a neat strategy I saw Saturday. Swim along the river and end in hindering to get stealth. Anybody have some good ideas to slow down sharks? I froze the map in my matchup with sharks, but that only barely slowed down their movement potential. PJ, you had something that would slow down a lot of things, if I remember correctly.
That he was actually playing Elijah Snow at that event, and that was interesting to see because but he lost map, and I think that's the biggest thing that you have to do in order to slow down their movement is just win map roll. I know it's not that simple, but we need arcade back, right? But standard King Shark team is going to be the +5 or +6 team, and that's going to be your best bet for slowing them down is beat them on map. If you lose map, get away from the water, so that way if they're going to come to you, at least they can't get away from you as easily. That's the best I could say about trying to get away from some sharks, or just put barriers in their way, because barriers work too.
Barriers. Mike?
Yeah, he pretty much covered everything I would have said. The only thing I would add in there is elevation as well. If your opponent happens to pick a map with water, but there's some sections that have elevated, position yourself in such a way that he can't really get to you as easily, right? He's got to come up an elevation change. So maybe you can block that off with a character with plasticity or something like that, things like that. So. Jay, you all right, Jay?
Oh, I've got the answer. So you need two things. You need a Batman ID card, and you need the Batman from the Adam West 66 Bat Pack, because that is the Shark Repellent Spray Batman. And then you just automatically win because you have Shark Repellent Spray, right? That's modern. Not modern limited, but you could just play the Batman. Or, actually, no, funnily enough, you could play that same Batman, but play him with the 30 points and give your opponent an extra Shark, which gets rid of the -1s.
Brilliant.
Actually didn't think of that before I started talking, but that happened to work out.
He talked his way into the solution, guys. He got there.
How do you beat a shark? Give him a shark. Ooh.
Shark, get the shark. Shark to the shark. Shark on shark action.
Shark Week.
I'm pretty sure there's Rule 34 for this.
Oh.
No exceptions. We got a super chat from Lurker ERS with no words in it. All right, well, thank you for that. Tyler Murrin has a question. The WizKids OP Miss America looks really good on paper with her ability to teleport a character before the make a close attack. Why do you guys think she isn't played all that often? Like out of the two venues I attend occasionally, I've never seen her. I never see her. I thought Tidal Loki might help, giving him a slight move and attack. But even then, still nothing. Is she just too expensive? As always, great job, and look forward to more episodes. I think her point cost factors in. Honestly, I have her, and I barely looked at her.
95 points. Yeah.
95 points is a third of a 300-point team.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I've fiddled around with her. I've built some Young Avengers teams with her, but it's 95 points because you look at her dial, the rest of her, and you think that she's meant to be your sort of attacking piece. Well, if you're trying to pull off this teleporting move, she's not your attacking piece. So yeah, no, I think it's cost more than anything else. PJ.
I just had to take a second for our super chat and say, stop, hammer time.
Oh.
He paid for it, he gets it.
Yes.
Jay?
Yeah, she's very expensive, and just starting with charge is not ideal. Even with the recent Young Avengers we got, it's still not the best keyword ever. I think if you're wanting to play her, you might want to lean towards Cosmic because they have some pretty cool options now. But even then, I just feel like for 400 for a 30-year build, yeah, she's just not doing enough. Considering it takes an action to even maybe set her up, and then you have to do more actions to do the other. It's just doesn't really work out.
It's a kind of parachutey. What about you? What do you think there, PJ? I don't know if I got your thoughts there on Miss America.
Not yet. No, I agree with everything said so far. She's just really expensive. I had a couple builds with her a while back, and I just couldn't figure out a way to make it work that I couldn't just do it better with other stuff. So it's not that she's unplayable. I just don't think she's quite good enough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when it comes to local venue, why aren't people just trying it? When it comes to local level store events, I never understand why people just don't grab a thing and go. I'm kind of enticed to try her out and just do a thing with her. Maybe make a Young Avengers team or something for the next local event that we'll see. I totally talked myself out of that, realizing I think my local events are my kitchen table for the next couple months. Whew. You know, I keep saying that, and I think this time it's actually for real, guys. All right. Michael Fedor. Hi, everyone. When my sealed event comes up next week, Michael Fedor is the alpha patron, by the way, the first and so far longest running patron. When my Seal event comes up next week, who am I hoping to pull? X-Men, Brotherhood, or Generation X? Or is there another team I should hope to pull in order to get an edge in Seal? Thanks again. Have a great week. I mean, if you want to pull an entire team in Seal, if you can somehow pull off Age of Apocalypse, I mean, by all means. I'm being ridiculous, of course. That's just not going to happen. I'm between X-Men and Gen X, but I'm not sure which version of the X-Men I'm kind of all in on. Because I'm gonna say you should really hope to pull X-Men, and then like Amber, gonna pull the title Professor X. You should pull both title characters, by the way. Like that's one of those is an insult, and the other one's Magneto. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing X-Men seems to be the strong thing you want to pull. It seems to have the most cohesiveness, to say the least, or the most synergy is the word I'm actually looking for. Jay, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, the individual strongest characters are all X-Men because it's an X-Men set. Looking at Generation X again, I mean, they have Leech. He's a support piece. They have not the best attackers, so you're not hoping for them. Isn't Brotherhood? It's limited to what? Mystique and Magneto. Oh, and Mondo. So not really Brotherhood. It's basically X-Men. And it's not impossible to get Theme either, so you can get that advantage as well. But I think your number one priority is probably to get leadership on there, because there's so much of it that if you don't have it, you're almost at a disadvantage. And it should not be hard to get. There's all the headmasters. Some characters just have it. Like Hellion is just a common and is good and has leadership for some reason. So yeah, X-Men. It is an X-Men set, so go for X-Men.
All right, PJ.
I thought I was muted. I agree. I think X-Men is probably the way you want to go, just for exactly the reasons Jay mentioned. Your attackers are better there. But I do want to strongly suggest you not sit down and immediately just look for X-Men.
Yeah.
Suggest find your best piece and build around that. Because if you're dead set on X-Men, you might overlook that Gen X piece that's perfect for what you need. But you end up not playing it because you're set on X-Men. So don't take that as play X-Men or die. But if you are looking for a general statement of what team is going to be better for you, it should be X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Yeah, just like they said, X-Men is the most prevalent keyword. So if you're looking to make a theme team and get that bonus, that's what you want to look for. You're going to find the most synergistic pieces. But again, like PJ said, man, you got to build around what comes out of your pack that's best for you, that works into your play style. I will say, though, also keep an eye out for New Mutants. There's a good chunk of New Mutant keyworded figures in the set, and some interesting powers and ability choices amongst those figures. You got the Magneto uncommon, as well as the uncommon Prime, are two figures that have it, as well as that rare Prime. Professor X also has New Mutants. Both the rare magic and that super rare magic that Jay likes a lot. I thought Icarus was a good figure. Cypher has some potential to him. So, you may want to keep an eye out for New Mutants as well. But at the end of the day, focus on what comes out of your pack and how your figures work together first. If you can make theme work, that's also a good thing. But figure synergy first.
Yeah. Always go for theme as a byproduct of a sealed team. Don't push too hard for it. It often ends up beating you up for in the end, unless it's a name theme and you can get those props and use those props. Because now that 5 prop limit, man, that's something, to say the least. All right, that takes us from the Facebook chat. I'm going to take a second to address the Discord. Nathaniel has a question. Do any of you guys plan on doing the ROC Online Win-A-Map on Saturday? A last hurrah for Unimind with, Darwin and Leech around the corner. I personally can't commit the time myself, especially this weekend. I'm going to be at work on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to a filthy, filthy Magic tournament because they're holding Pauper tournament at our Grand Prix on Sunday. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible, guys, but I mean, my deck cost me $5. Back off. Anyway, PJ, are you thinking about doing the ROC Online tournament this weekend?
I likely will not be doing the ROC Online tournament this weekend. I have other stuff I got to do, and I'm going to take the weekend off before I have to go through the lovely, lovely mental stress of running a Super Q or a Mega. So, taking a break on this weekend.
Mike?
Almost didn't unmute there. I would love to, but unfortunately, yeah, I'm juggling a lot of things with life right now and work. So I have very limited time available to me. And I'm still, fingers crossed, hoping I can even sneak in just a local event on Sunday. So if that happens, I definitely wouldn't be able to do the online thing on Saturday, which is unfortunate because, oh man, I really want to try it out. Sounds exciting.
Jay?
This is the first time even hearing about it. So
You know what you should do then, Jay, if this is the first time you're hearing about it, you should take a second to go into the description and check out the ROC Online Facebook page, which I have linked down below in the description. Right down there. No, seriously, the description, guys. I'm not pointing at my... Stop it. You're being gross. Stop it. You know who you are. You know what you're doing. Put that away. Put that thing away. You can't just whip your Ophidian out like that.
Nice. Oh, wait, is it? But since it's orange, it has to be Donald Trump's, right?
It's a quadruple entendre.
Oh wait, I wouldn't even play this anyway because I already have the maps. Even if I could, no, sorry. I'm just
Don't
looking.
apologize to me. Apologize to the ROC.
I'm sorry.
The ROC says goes.
I'm very busy
What's
with
your
hero
excuse
clips.
for not being able to do it. What's
Sorry,
your
what?
excuse?
Very
It
busy.
doesn't matter what your excuse is. I'm in a goofy mood. I don't know why. We only got one question in the chat, but if you're watching live and in the chat, big capital letters question. We'll get that question in there right now. But Nolan Lake wants to know what makes Theme Team so strong and sealed. Did you see any pieces dominating the X-Men pre-release? What makes Theme strong and sealed is what is strong and sealed, and it's the fact that a lot of the support powers that are strong in the constructed game become stronger tenfold in sealed, in my opinion. Because outwit, hard to come by. If you have it in sealed, oh boy, is it strong. Perplex, hard to come by. And like when you're pulling randomly, if you can't be guaranteed it. If you have it, worth it. Same with probability control. Probability control is 10 times stronger in regards to sealed because there's not a lot of it going on. Mike, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I'd have to say first and foremost is the probability control, especially because there's less and less probability control being put on characters in the game becomes so much more significant and so much more valuable to you. And we've all been there. It's a dice game, man. It doesn't matter how much you put into it. It doesn't matter. You could be sitting there going, all I have to do is not crit miss. And then you crit miss. And then you prob it, and then you crit miss again. So, of course, you want probs. Second, I got to say, is the bonus to map roll. I mean, come on. Everybody knows how important the terrain is. You make a team, I make a team. My ability to now dictate how we play on this, especially in a sealed event where you might have pulled all boot speed figures, right? You've got all grounded figures. I managed to get some flyers. I get map roll. I can totally control you in this game, right? I pick elevation changes and hindering terrain that slows you down. Those two things alone make building theme a huge advantage in the sealed environment, regardless of anything else. And just being able to have extra rolls and control the terrain, game changer.
Also, Nolan, to add to it, Amber was off screen and said because Beast would have died 5 turns earlier if she would have gone with Theme Prop. Nolan played in the Comic Warehouse pre-release, so Amber played against him, so she wanted to throw that in there. Jay?
Well, I had 5 theme probs on Saturday, and I would guess that I used at least 10 of them. I mean, Sharif and I both had in our round. Well, we both used like 3 on a very critical attack on turn 1. I mean, there can be some figures that are actually terrain specific. Like there's 2 in this set. Mondo and Rock Slide that have powers based on the terrain. Like if they're next to blocking, they have reducers. Rock Slide heals from it, and just in general. And just certain characters can be more conducive to certain maps. Like the Professor X non-prime on the dungeon map will be the most obnoxious thing of all time because he mind controls regardless of line of fire. So, and this particular set can actually matter a lot. But and also, if it's a set that's more conducive to having theme, you could be at a disadvantage. Like this set, easier to get theme, as an example. But yeah, prob, always important. Map roll, initiative, always important. Specific terrain, very, very important. There's just, if you can do it and have a good team, you should do it. Do the thing.
All right, BJ?
All of that stuff. And also, a good thing about theme is you'll get synergistic powers. So you'll get things that line up with each other. So not only all that aforementioned stuff, but generally the pieces just work better together when you have theme. So yeah, that's all I got to add.
It's kind of funny because the last thing you added on was technically could have been worded as because game design. Right. All right. Next up, hey, Jay Solomon. This guy sounds like a jerk. I don't know. He's got a question in the chat. He just sounds like an absolute piece of garbage. Like somebody I wouldn't trust to host my show or something like that. His question: what will Canadians switch to now that Al Jordan and Pick a Power is less good? It's gonna be Hella. We're all gonna choose Hella now. This is a super rare Hella in the Mighty Thor. We're all using it. I'm saying it now, and if you aren't using it, you're not Canadian.
Easy there, hoser.
Hey.
Take off there, eh? You know we gotta have a meeting, eh? To like talk about this, eh? We can't
we talked about it at Shinny this weekend. You guys
No,
were at the
dude,
pre-release
come
all
on, dude.
goofing around there, eh?
We gotta talk about this before we can just go ahead and do something like
We
this.
had the Shinny, then we were at the Timmy's. The conversation happened at the Timmy's. It's official now, eh?
Which Timmy's? Which Timmy's were you at? You
Timmy's around the corner, eh?
Dude, there's the Timmy's around every bloody corner. You gotta narrow it down, eh?
Yeah, we were out for a rip after the Shinny. We went to the Timmy's. We figured it all out.
Dude, I had to take the moose for a walk. You gotta give me more advance notice than that.
What have I done?
You've chosen to do something goofy on a day where I've decided I'm going to be goofy. You did this to yourself, sir.
It was funny because I saw your article. Wait, did you write an article or was it a Metafix? Either way, and then I noticed that Dan was playing too. So apparently he's Canadian now. I don't know where does he live. I think doesn't he live down the only road? South Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last episode Mr. J. Solomon's going to be able to be on the show. We're going to say goodbye to I'm just kidding.
I have been giving a lot of Canadian citizenship out lately with all these Al Jordans. So good job, guys.
I know. Hey.
I'm loving on you.
The citizenship test has changed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Happy Little Hero Clicks asks, you can bring back one Golden Age game element and either keep it the same or change it. What do you pick? Soaring? Capture? And then he kind of just left it up behind there. What would I bring back from the Golden Age that has been taken out? Nothing, because everything that's been taken out has been trash. That's my opinion. PJ, what would you bring back from the Golden Age?
The capture ability. I absolutely love it. It's like one of my favorite things in older age HeroClix.
Because everybody likes one-hit kill, guys.
That's right. But out, I mean, I don't know.
Giving away free TK like it's going out of style.
Hey, I didn't say it was easy to stop it. I said you can stop it. You just need to play all your whole team needs phasing, and then you're fine.
All right, Mike, what would you bring back from the Golden Age?
Well, the black heart in me immediate reaction was going to be action after Taxi. So we could all just bask in the glory of Fire Lords everywhere.
Oh God, Wasp
Remember
carries Fire Lord. No.
But honestly, I would actually say it was the rarely ever used speed bag option of Hypersonic.
Oh, the hit after hit after hit
Yeah.
that does all the damage based on the hits.
Because
like the -1 attack with the rule of 3, that would be interesting.
without the rule of 3 though, I would love to just ditch that part just for that power. Because I don't know, it was fun, man. Like I think I pulled it off 2 times in the 15 years that I've played HeroClix, and both times was just fantastic. And I mean, like, when I say pulled it off, I mean more than 3 hits. Back before the rule 3, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm hitting. What do I need now? You need a 12. Oh my God, I rolled the crit hit. I can. It was great. So I don't know. There's just something so much fun about that, and it feels right. Those Hypersonic guys just hit, poke, poke, poke. So anyway, that's what I'd bring back.
As a segue related to that, myself and Aiden, a while back, a friend of mine, for those of you unfamiliar, he brought in a bunch of cardless figures for us to play a one-on-one game with all these cardless figures. And we during that game had to say things like, I have a 5 attack against your 11 defense. I need a 6.
No.
Oh.
Those old dials, man, they dropped so fast. They're so gross. Like, remember one of the best figures first click was the experienced Ultron.
Yep.
Because he had like what, a 13 attack?
13 attack with 3 targets with energy explosion.
Right, with a crazy range, and he was a wild card.
And stacking splash.
Yeah, but all you had to do was hit him for 2. That's all you had to do. You just had to get him off those first 2 clicks, and all of a sudden he had like a 12 defense and like a 7 attack. It was just gross. He was just useless after those first 2 clicks. But
and let's do a Golden Age review of that figure. He's really tough up front, but he's super easy to heal, guys.
He was. I think he was
7 to 9 attack at best.
Yeah, I think it was like 110 points, 115 points in that area. But man, I used the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Good
Sorry,
times.
Jack. We were kind of reminiscing the old guys here. So,
I was just looking through the retired game elements list that WizKids conveniently put together for me. There was really not that much throw or grenade, but that was a fun mechanic on appropriate characters. All the different kinds of grenades and grenade pools, and that was some fun stuff. Although, like, where did it come in? I think the only time it came up in actual modern was one of the bout belt items, maybe, and like those items never got used.
There was what's his name? He didn't have a grenade pool, but he had a grenade similar ability.
Gabe Jones?
That's the one.
Wow, yeah, but I think other than that one thing, it was mostly a Gears of War.
Yeah,
other clips.
Gears of War and Halo. Gears of War and Halo were heavy with the grenades.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, excellent. Full range hypersonic, guys. Full range hypersonic. Go back and look at a figure from Icons. The veteran Superman. He's single-handedly responsible for the fact that hypersonic gives you half range now.
I was just going to say, who's responsible for that happening?
So this is Jason's last episode on the show for a little while.
251 points of go F yourself. That's what he was.
It's funny, Jay should mention that. This is, I do have to say, a hearty farewell for a number of months. We're going to be busy at work until October, late October. I don't know. I'm trying to be subtle about it, but if you don't know, then you don't know. If you know, then you know. Okay, guys. That said, Jay is going to be taking over my hosting duties for a little bit. Show's still going to be here. I'm still going to try to put out some recorded content because I can do that in the wee hours of the night when I get home and, quietly in my kitchen or whatever I need to do for that. I will continue my trail because I'm planning on trying to take some time off in May just to do. I can take a Sunday off in May to go to Canadian Nationals because I only have to go on the day 2 portion of Canadian Nationals this time. So, courtesy of my WKO win, I might not be able to make it at WKOs. I definitely won't be able to make it out to Worlds at all. And I won't be able to, not a chance in hell am I making it out to Rocktober. That just off the books on me this year. This is going to be a bad year for Jason. But in the meantime, these 3 beautiful men, and 2 beautiful men and Jay, are going to be minding the shop while I'm gone. Tom will be in and out of the show on a regular basis, I'm sure. Jay, keeping track with Tom, by the way. Just, heads up. Because it's going to be busy for me. But I'm not absent. If we do hit up that point on the Patreon, I will be taking the wee hours of the evenings to make sure that this all common tournament goes off with as few hitches as possible. I'm going to be running that thing as best I can. If we can hit that $200 mark on the Patreon, I'm going to put out a video, hopefully by the weekend, explaining my full-blown massive plan on the whole thing, and figuring out how I'm going to organize it all through something that doesn't require me to actually do work outside of work, because I'm not coding a website. I'm not coding anything, guys. I'm a coder at work. So I write enough of that stuff. I'm not going to ask somebody to do their job at home for whatever, but I will gladly organize this thing. Anyway, that said, it will be a while till you see me live on anything other than a late appearance on the Patreon Hangout for a while. Amber's gonna be taking over with that. Any of you guys want to help her out with that, let me know. We'll make sure we get you guys in on that as well. I'll be on the Discord because it bothers me at work. It's on my phone. So there we go. And yeah, so that said, Jay, ship's going to be yours when I give you all that information.
Oh, God.
Tonight. Good luck. By the way, these guys are all clowns.
We're all going to die.
And you're in charge of them now.
Gotta juggle the clown-looking guy, then that other guy.
KJ wants to know where we are on the Patreon, so I'm gonna actually pull up the Patreon screen share.
I think it was like 99 or something.
Last check was 99. I mean, who knows what's happened while I've been on the show here? But I didn't get any emails, I don't think. So here we go. So we're sitting right now at a healthy $99 per month right now with 22 patrons. As little as $1 gets you access to this, guys. And any little bit helps. You will not be judged by how much you help us. And you will be rewarded by how much you help us. So the reward tiers are all in there. Check us out, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. All right. Anything you want to add before we read there, PJ?
Nope.
Mike? Jay?
What have I gotten myself into?
If you only knew the half of it, sir, you've got a babysitting job ahead of you. Guys want to see a good shot of my shirt. I got this at Ripped Apparel. It is a cool take on the Ninja Turtles and the Gorillas. I can never remember the album name when I'm in the middle of all this.
Demon Days.
Demon Days. Thank you. I have the album, but I just never remembered. Like this stuff is. It's like video games, HeroClix, Magic the Gathering. Somewhere down here is my memory for music. It's pretty terrible. So on that note, I want to thank our sponsors over hcrealms.com, your one-stop source for all things HeroClix. Check them out. Track your collection in the unit section. Keep track of the conversation in the forums. And while you're there, hit up the shop. Put the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase. A little bit comes to kick back the channel as well. Check out the Clixed. 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 Check out we're brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com. Check out the premium site, MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. Brain dumps from great brains. Adam Freeman just very recently put up a whole description as to why it's a good thing that Ophidian is no longer part of the ROC. It's very in-depth. If you want a good list of some of the stupid powers that you could get from that, it's all in there. As well, of course, we're supported greatly by the ROC. Check out the ROC site, roc.ion, Ion Suite, IONSUITE.com. I'm going to try to put this in the description below. Check them out. Keep track of your tournament. Sign in to the ROC site so they can track your stats, your scores, what's going on with you. If you're looking to host a ROC, it's right there, man. Host your own ROC. ROC rules are all there. News. Keep track of podcasts, all that kind of stuff. This is a new site to check out, guys. So check out the ROC when you can. And guys, always remember, even though I'm leaving you guys in the dust for a little while, always remember the words that I always share with you guys when it comes to Metafix with the Meta Lab. Practice will make your team better, or if you're really tired, practice will make your team bigger. Have a good night, everybody.